initially what I used to do, I used to meet different people and I used to put on my social media that I met this person and this person and this person. And then once I received a comment from a very influential person in the finance market. And he said, what exactly you talked about in that meeting? What was that meeting all about? That opened my eyes like, oh, people, they're watching my social media and they see what exactly I post. And onwards, I started posting what exactly I discussed in that meeting.
Welcome to the Alphapreneurs podcast. I'm your host, Rayhan Aleem. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Taxstar, a UAE-based e-invoice tech company, and 𝗿𝗵𝘁 Partners, a bookkeeping business supporting small and medium-sized businesses. We meet Dubai-based entrepreneurs who share their insights and stories on building their business to help yours. Today on the Alphapreneurs podcast, I'm joined by Muhammad Kalim. He's the director of Visendor Marketing and a partner at ABACCO Chartered Accountants, working closely with entrepreneurs on growth, branding, and financial direction. He's built a strong voice around personal branding, networking, and practice growth, and is passionate about helping founders grow with clarity and confidence. Muhammad, thank you very much for joining me on the Alphapreneurs podcast. We had this conversation quite a few months ago and I was very keen to bring you on. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
No, it's long overdue.
Happy and excited to be here.
Likewise. So we have very similar journeys. We both worked as accountants. We then came to Dubai. We set up our firm, and we thrived in what we've done. Just for the accountants, for the entrepreneurs who don't know about your story, do you want to just give us a quick kind of introduction about yourself from your beginnings, from being an accountant to running to multiple businesses?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So every journey has a beginning, and mine had to. So I started with one of the big four, and then I came here almost 12, 13 years ago. I came here and I joined one of the top 10 auditing firms. And I think that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Because if you're entering any new market and this could be a guideline for a lot of accountants as well, like if you're entering, because most of us, we are coming from either accounting background or an auditing background or advisory background, but most of us, we are working with different auditing and accounting firms. And I think that gives you a different kind of exposure, even if you're entering any new market. So what it gives you understanding of different industries, right? It gives you access to those people who otherwise you don't think that you will have access to those people or those people who are at the decision-making positions in different organizations. So that's what I did. When I came here, I had two options. One of them, I was getting option as a finance manager in one of the industries. And the other option was to join one of the auditing firms. And believe me, there was a difference of around like 5,000 to 6,000 dirhams. So when you're entering to the market, 5,000, 6,000 dirhams matters a lot.
Yeah.
For most of us.
You get paid more if you work in industry as opposed to working for a
But still I decided that I think I need to get different kind of exposure, right? And if I'm working with an auditing firm, maybe after 2-3 years, that will make more difference than if I'm working with any company in an industry. And that's how the journey started. And then I started my own business in January 2020. Right? So that was another good experience for me. A lot of people, they say, oh, perfect timing. I said, yeah, exactly. That was perfect timing for me. Because what happens, when you start your business, you have you see and you go through a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a whole journey that we'll talk about in the podcast later.
I guess you consciously decided to go through the audit route because you have more exposure to clients and billing and if you're working in an industry as an accountant, you don't really talk to clients, you're talking internally, and you talk to clients. In 2020, you made that big move and you set up your own business. What was going through your mind when you made that decision? Obviously, it's a big leap. I think it was COVID as well, right? We were going through COVID as well. What was going through your mind, and everyone has a trigger that pushes them to start up a business, right? What was that trigger for you?
The trigger for me, obviously, what I was seeing in the market, that a lot of people, they're providing those services, but everybody's selling services, but nobody is selling solutions, right? A lot of people used to call me and then ask, well, what we should do. And at that time, VAT was new in the market. A lot of things were going on. People, they were understanding how to do their accounting properly, how to maintain their records. And for me, it has always been like, numbers are not just there to prepare financial statements, right? They are a guideline and a direction for business owners. So if you're getting timely and right numbers, only then you can make right decisions. Otherwise, there's no possibility. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give business owners, entrepreneurs, the right and timely numbers. That's what matters most for everyone, right? And we have seen, like, most of the people, they don't really, sometimes they're careless about their accounting, about their numbers. And later on, that we need now 3 years financial statements and financial data prepared in just 1 month. That's not possible.
Yeah, we get that often as well. Can you give us like an example of where someone's come to you and they needed the numbers? As you said, it's not just to produce the numbers for the sake of producing an audit or financial statements, but help them in their business. Any stories that you can share?
A lot. I have a lot of stories. See, the problem was within this market, you could have followed your company policies or IFRS or any other accounting practices. But in 2015, so that was formalized. And then now everybody had to follow IFRS. And that's when a lot of things changed, right? So companies, they had to change their entire company policies, the framework, how they prepare their financial statements. So a lot of things were happening there. But still, a lot of people, they were not really prepared for that. Especially small and medium-sized companies, they were not really prepared. And that's where most of the people, they have struggled. And they were preparing their financial statement, but and then in 2018, we had VAT, and VAT also said that you have to prepare your financial statements and you have to maintain them, regular audits, and things started to change. And there was one of the companies, I'll tell you, like, when I faced that problem, first, that was an e-commerce company. An e-commerce company, they were not really preparing their financial statements properly or their accounts properly. I don't know if they were not aware how to maintain those records, or the accountant was not prepared for that. Because we are coming from different backgrounds, and different industries, they require some special kind of attention. And different kind of international financial reporting standards are applicable on different industries. And sometimes it's okay, fine. We are also human beings. Yeah. It does not mean that if I'm an accountant, so I should be aware or I should memorize all the international financial reporting standards. That's not possible. Humanly, that's not possible. And entrepreneurs, they should also not expect from their accountant that they should be expert in accounting and budgeting and in forecasting and then tax. And now we have VAT, excise tax, and corporate tax. It's not possible, right? So finance field has also become very vast. So you can either, and sometimes I give an example that nowadays we have reached to a level where we say that I'm expert in only one IFRS, right? So it means that I can make mistakes, or business owners, they need to understand what kind of person do they need in their company. Yeah. So that's the most important thing. So yeah, these kind of things we have seen, like people, they were not ready. And then what happened? They approached different companies, and different companies also promised them, yeah, sure, why not? We can do that within 3 months. So 5 years data and 5 years accounting, we can just do in 3 months. And then in the end, nothing happened. Because we know that this thing then becomes time consuming and labor intensive. And there's no end to that. Because doing real-time accounting is easier than, going back and then looking into that backlog. Yeah, there's transactions people forgot what they did as well. Exactly. That's one of the problems. You don't have evidence. Yeah. And sometimes you have evidence, you have the invoice, and you ask the business owner what exactly was that, and there's no memory. So you have a lot of instances like that. And just recently, one of the clients, they approached us, and then they said that we actually migrated from one accounting software to another one, right? But in that time, that transition period, we were not doing our accounting properly. So now they have two problems. One is once they were migrating, and now there's no reconciliation. And that transition time, they don't have a proper accounting, because they were not using the old accounting software, and now they were not really using the new accounting software. So that, and it the company which was implementing accounting software, it took them almost 1 year to migrate that data.
Oh, wow.
Right. I know that you might be good in implementing the accounting software. Maybe you're an IT company, but you're not really good in accounting.
Yeah.
So that's where most of the people, they struggle. So either you hire two teams, one is good in IT and implementation of that accounting software, and another team which is helping you in properly implementing your accounting policies that makes sure that your data is migrated into the new accounting software properly. Right? And not just that, but sometimes what happens, one of the accounting software supports one type of file, but the other one doesn't. So you have to migrate it. So it's a hassle.
It's a lot of manual work.
A lot of manual work there. A lot of manual work there. So yeah, these things happen, and then most of the firms, most of the business owners, that they expect us to do within no time, but that doesn't work.
With AI nowadays, maybe that could work, but
still you need human interference.
Yeah.
You need reconciliations.
Yeah. I want to ask you about, obviously you set up your first business, which was the accounting, and then you decided to set up another business, which obviously one business is hard enough as it is, especially in accounting. So what made you set up your marketing agency? Because they're very different, right, in terms of what they do. What gave you the idea behind that?
Yeah. We accountants, we know that how to do accounting, how to do financial statements, and sometimes we know how to prepare business plans, feasibility studies, how to help businesses grow, but from financial perspective, from financial point of view. But there are a lot of other things going on in a business that we accountants, we have to understand. So it's just not accounting, or if I'm technical, or if I know all the accounting standards or international financial reporting standards, and then I can make a good entrepreneur, right? So you need to learn a lot of other skills as well. People management, and we study people management, client management, communication skills, interpersonal skills. Creativity is obviously one of them as well. So you have to learn all of these things if you want to grow your business. And that's where most of the businesses, they fail. So that's where I thought, if I want to grow, I need branding, I need visibility. And if I need direction, so financial statements and those numbers, they're giving me a direction. So that's where the idea came, that I need to be visible.
Yeah.
I need to build a brand. And obviously I'm a finance professional. I'm technical. I know what those numbers are saying. So combining both, definitely, there's no way that I will not grow, or I will not make the right decisions.
It's kind of like a superpower where you can,
it's a superpower.
Yeah. So, because obviously a lot of accountants are not used to the marketing and branding side of things, and you was able to grow
It's very
and
unfortunate.
build a marketing agency. And you've obviously mentioned the personal branding part is very important. When did you first start thinking about your personal branding, and what kind of advice can you give other entrepreneurs to help them with their personal branding?
Yeah. So the two things obviously I want to mention over here, that I know that a lot of people who are working in different auditing and accounting firms, and they think that they're technically sound and they can make a good entrepreneur. That's sometimes that's not true. Right? You have to develop a lot of the skills, because business owner it's kind of an octopus. Right? So you have your tentacles in different fields, and you have to have a proper hold of each and every dimension. Right? So for all the technical people, obviously you have to build different skills, and then you enter in and you start a new business. For me, as I said, that I started in January 2020, and at that time I didn't know that what exactly is coming. So nobody knew in the market, and I didn't have even.
This is just business before COVID was
just
going.
before COVID,
Yeah.
just before COVID, and in mid of March, I think we had a proper lockdown, right? And before that, I was just preparing stationaries and then registrations, and like we need registration with different free zones. So I was just focused on that. I was not really at the moment. I was not really focused on marketing and getting new clients. It was just word of mouth. I told within my small close circle at that time that, I have to start a new business. So if you need any accounting services or auditing help or whatever it is, so you can just approach me. So it started with that. But once everything was shut down, Now, I cannot go out, I cannot approach people, and accounting was, I think, the least priority for most of the entrepreneurs. It was just survival at that time. Right? If you survive, then we will see you if you want to do auditing and accounting. So that was a time when I realized that now I cannot approach people. Right? So the only medium is social media. So at least through social media, I can convey my message. And obviously everybody know that one day the things will be over. The situation will be over and we'll get back to the normal life. So I think that was a trigger point for me, or a time when I thought like what could be different mediums or platforms how I can approach people, right? Or how at least people, they should know there's somebody who exists and provides these services.
I guess setting up a new business just before COVID forced you to think about marketing before you naturally would think about it. And it made you make lots of decisions a lot earlier than what you probably would have done if that hadn't happened. So I guess, would you say COVID was a blessing for you?
For sure. I said that COVID has taught me a lot. And I don't think so. And that was one of the worst time I could ever face. Right? So that also gave me motivation. Like, if I can survive this, I can survive any kind of situation.
Yeah. And would you say that entrepreneurship is hard, right? But the more lessons that you learn, the more stronger you become as an entrepreneur and as a business as well. And I guess that's kind of helped you grow to where you are now. What are some of the key learnings that you were able to, in this period where everything was shut down, you just set up a new business, you're paying for these registrations, money's coming out your pocket and no money's coming in. What are the 1 to 2 kind of key learnings that you, or mistakes that you made, that you would share with other entrepreneurs?
I would not say mistakes, but every decision is a learning. So you go through that learning process. Sometimes some of the decisions, they work, sometimes they don't. So that does not mean that you have failed.
Yeah.
It means that you just have to reconcile and you have to rethink and you have to just act the way which actually works for you. Right? For me, I think it would be taking the ownership. So if you're taking any kind of decision for your company and for your staff, so you have to take that ownership. Because what happens, most of us, or startups, you say, most of us, we were employed somewhere. So we were working somewhere. So being an employee and being an employer, that's a huge shift in the mindset. Right? And this is what I say, that if I'm not in any kind of situation, obviously I cannot understand how it feels like to be in that situation or in that moment. Right? So being an employee, you can never understand how it feels to be an entrepreneur. And if you have never been in any kind of employment and you are just, you had a family business and immediately you went and became part of that business. So you can never understand how an employee thinks and feels. Right? So this is the vice versa kind of a feeling. So if you have been an employee and now you're starting your business, so you have to change your mindset.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset, obviously. Yeah. It's a mindset. It's just a mindset. And I can give you another example. I have a lot of stories for you. So when I planned to start the business, so I thought, instead of starting a new business and which nobody knows and I don't have a clientele, so why don't I go in the market and see if somebody's selling their company? So I found a person. I'll just cut it short. So I found a person. I went and met the person, and he said that I'm expecting this much for this business. And I said,
this is for an accounting business.
For an accounting firm. And I said, and I was actually shocked what exactly he was expecting. And I said, how old is the company? He said, 12 years old. And I said, 12 years old, and you have, let's give a number. Let's say he was expecting 200,000.
Yeah.
Right. And it was actually close to that number. And I said, 12 years, and you're expecting only 200,000 dirhams for your business. What exactly happened over there? Because I was curious to know what exactly happened. And he said, see, I just wanted to run my kitchen and that's it. And that gave me the lesson. So if your mindset is that you just want to run your kitchen, obviously after 12 years, you'll be standing at the same position.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to change that mindset. So where exactly you want to be. So you have to set that direction from the beginning. And then obviously you have to work for it. And it's not that you have just set that direction and now you're just sitting and on your couch, like couch potato, and then not doing nothing. So things doesn't work in that way. And as you ask, like entrepreneurship, and then I used to watch a lot of entrepreneurs, and they used to say that when we started our business and we used to cry and sometimes we had negative thoughts. So I was like, how is that possible? How can a person have negative thoughts because the business is not working? And then I was at the same position, in the same situation.
So you
and
can relate.
COVID as well, that I can relate. And I thought, yes, it was not just because you have responsibilities. You have your family, you have staff members, you have to pay them salaries by the end of the month, right? And then you have to feed your family as well. So there are a lot of responsibilities, and sometimes you literally you are in this situation where you don't know where exactly you have to go. But that time you have to be firm with your decisions, and you have a positive mindset. No, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, this is how I have to do that.
The positive mindset is something that entrepreneurs need to make sure that they have when they're running the business. Yeah. When you set up your marketing agency, obviously accounting is more, preparing their accounts, and it's a essential service, whereas marketing is something that you have on top, where you help businesses grow their sales or their awareness. What kind of things do you do differently in your marketing agency opposed to what you did in your accounting firm that really helped the marketing agency grow?
So I say marketing brings in people, and accounting decides if they're staying, or finance decides if they're staying or not. And I mean by clients. Obviously, every business needs clients, right? And how those clients come with branding, with marketing. But is the quality of service you're providing later on, and that decides if that client is staying or not. So for me, like I saw, like most of the accounting firms and most of the auditing firms, they are marketing themselves in almost a similar way. Like, have you ever seen a plumber selling its services like, I'm a plumber and get my services? I don't think so. I don't think so. Right. But most of us, we were selling that I can do accounting for you. I'm an accountant, and we provide accounting services. We provide tax services. We provide auditing services. We provide this service and that service. So nobody's actually interested in your service. Everybody was interested in solutions.
Yeah.
Right. What kind of solution you're providing me, and how you're helping me in finding a solution to the problem I'm facing at the moment. So it was just about that. And that's what I found. If you go into my LinkedIn or any social media platforms, I never said that I'm an accountant and I'm providing accounting services, I'm providing tax services. So that was, I wanted to tell them how I think, right? What kind of person I am, why they should work with me, why I'm good for their company. I never ever said that I provide accounting services. I provide the best accounting services. No, nobody's interested. Like, how do you provide those best accounting services? That matters the most.
And then in your marketing agency, specifically, is there anything that you've done differently, like in terms of the way you run it to your accounting firm?
Yes. See, a lot of clients, they came and they said, see, we want, they came with the same mindset, because most of us, and at the moment, yes, we have more accounting firms as clients, and all of them, they come and say, see, we are providing now AML services, so let's promote AML services. And we said, see, that this is now how it works, and this is how it works, because you have to sell solutions, right? And that's what we do. And not just that, but we are trying to bring in different kind of, especially now, I say that you have to give a face to your company.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to work more with videos. Why don't you come in front of the camera? And that's what exactly you need, right? Being a business owner, you need to have that much courage to come in front of the camera. Because you have to go and you have to meet a lot of people, and even if you're going into networking events. So what exactly do? You go and you face people, right? You don't just hide. So you go and you face people. So you have to sometimes get over your fears.
Yeah.
So that's what I ask most of people. And not just that, but now we are bringing in a lot of AI. Even if somebody not really comfortable coming in front of the camera. So we have different kind of mediums, and that's how we can help them. And and it's more about educating people, right? And that's how we are helping. We are creating videos for them. We are creating different kind of motion graphics for them. And it's a different kind of strategy, and with different strategies. And that's what I show from my profiles as well. Like if you see my profile, and you will see a difference between, I don't say that I'm very good at it, but I just try.
No, you're very good at social media.
I just try my best.
And I like your content as well.
I just try my best. And obviously I have learned over the with different experiences. I'll give you an example. Like initially, what I used to do, I used to meet with different people, and I used to put on my social media that I met this person and this person and this person. And then once I received a comment from a very influential person in the finance market, and he said, "What exactly you talked about in that meeting? What was that meeting all about?" And that opened my eyes. Like, oh, people, they're watching my social media, and they see what exactly I post. And onwards, I started posting what exactly I discussed in that meeting. What was the agenda of that meeting? What did I learn from that person? And that's where people, they started to relate themselves. Like, oh yeah, we were facing similar kind of problem, and now this is what we have to do. Right? So that also came with experience. And that's what I say to most of the people as well. Like if you're thinking something, so that stays just a thought. You have to do something.
One of the things I've also noticed about you is you're a very, very good networker as well. So not just online, you're very good in your social media, and you have video content, pictures and written, but you're also a very good networker. And networking is, for those who are shy from the camera, you need to make up for that with networking. And as an entrepreneur, you probably have to spend more time networking than on your business. What kind of advice do you give to other entrepreneurs if they want to expand the network? I mean, is there certain things that you do? How much time do you spend on networking, and what would you recommend?
Yeah, very, very good question. And I think there are 2-3 points to that. One is you cannot take the time out of your business if you're so much involved in execution. That's what you have to understand, that you need to have a system, you need to have people for the execution. And that's where you can now focus on growth. And growth comes from, there is one, branding or social media, but then you need to grow your network as well. And network nowadays, we have a lot of platforms where we can go and we can meet people in person. Right? So these are 2 things. First, you need to have systems in place which are actually helping you and supporting you, that you go outside, you meet people and bring in more business.
So basically you're not in the business, you're on top of the business.
Yes. This is what most of the startups, they have to understand. I used to organize different meetups, and I used to call different accounting firms that, why don't you come and we have this.
So you would organize meetups as well?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
I do that. So I used to organize, especially for accountants, and I used to invite different owners of different small accounting firms, and most of the time I used to be, we are busy in submitting tax returns, or we have a client and we just have to prepare the financial statements, and tomorrow is the deadline. I was like, if you as a business owner are involved in execution, then your growth is limited. Maybe you can grow to 10 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients, 50 clients maximum maybe, but nothing more than that. So you have to get out of that cycle. You need to have people who can execute for you. So you have to think as a business owner now, not just an accountant. This is a bigger world, which you might never thought about.
Do you use any systems? Like, do you use a CRM to manage all of your contacts? Or?
Of course. See, you how many connections or how many contacts you can manage, maybe 30, 40, 50, 100 connections. But if you have more connections than that, then definitely you need a CRM. So if you have a CRM, that's what I said. You need to have systems for everything. And for everything, whatever you're doing, and if you want to grow, you need to have proper systems. And that's how you become more independent.
I've seen in your social media posts that you play golf. And you also, we were talking before we came online that you've joined a captain's club.
Yeah.
This is all networking, right? Would you encourage other entrepreneurs to also play golf and go fishing for hours a week and, meet other entrepreneurs. How have you found that experience?
See, it's all about interests, right? Maybe I have interest in playing golf, but nobody else. But that does not mean that now you cannot network. So you have different kind of networks. You have different kind of people who have different kind of interests. So you have to identify those networks and just become part of that. The problem, what happens over here is that if I want to become part of a network, so I want to see results right from the first meeting. Just recently, I was standing some of the people, and then that said, "Oh, we organized that event, but you didn't come." And he said, "I came once, but I didn't get any business." The networking doesn't work in that way. You cannot say that I joined that network for once and I didn't get any business. So that's not a network, and you're not hunting for a network. So or maybe you can say that I was hunting, not farming. And that's what everybody say, that you have to be a farmer, not just hunter. That's a very common phrase, that you have to be a farmer. And what a farmer does, farmer waits, right? And builds that connection. It's not that you go and become part of that network. And it's all about building those bonds. Right? So if I have a bond with anybody in that circle, that's when things start to happen.
In your opinion, why do you need to create that bond rather than go out and start hunting? Why is a bond important for you?
See, if you want more sustainable growth, that's how this matters, right? Because at the moment, nobody actually knows me. And that's what I want to do. I want to give them that personal feel, like what kind of person I am and why they should recommend or refer their connections to me, right? If I just say that, okay, fine, you're giving me this client, fine, I'm okay with that. Even if you're not giving me any kind of client, even then I'm okay with that. So what kind of impression I'm leaving on that person? Everybody, all of us, we're human beings. And whatever kind of reaction I want from my connections, so similar kind of reaction they're expecting from me, or similar kind of action they're expecting from me. So if I'm approaching somebody, that if I come to you and I say, see, I'm a business coach and I'm providing these services, so please refer me clients. Okay, fine, I'll see. Right? But if I will tell you like what exactly I'm doing, and that's how I'm now helping business owners to grow their businesses and take the right decisions, and this is this and this, and you will say, oh yeah, okay, fine, that's interesting. And I have a friend and who is actually struggling with that, and because you care about that friend, so you will recommend me. Right? But if I don't give you why you should be caring about your connections and why you should refer them to me, obviously you will never recommend them. And it's just not me alone in the market providing those services. We have a lot of other competitors. We have to think about the competition, and we have to think how I can be different in the market. And that's how I win all of those connections. And that's what network is all about. Network is not hunting. You can have maybe just once, then next time somebody else will hunt.
Yeah, good point. So one of the things we talk about in this podcast is, many of our guests, they were employees and they became entrepreneurs, or they got shifted into the family business. And that means that they're shifting, as we mentioned in this podcast, in mindset from day one to becoming an entrepreneur. Now, one of the things, we've had a few coaches on this podcast, and one of the things that we see that is a common theme to a lot of entrepreneurs is having a mentor or a coach to help them in their journey. And that's important because you need to be in a position where you may know it all. You may be Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, but you still have a coach who looks at the way you're doing your passing or your shooting, and they can help you, give you better feedback from a third person point of view. I myself have a few coaches and mentors as well. How have mentors and coaches played in your journey as an entrepreneur from the days of COVID to now, where you've got two businesses and you're working with hundreds of entrepreneurs?
Well, I would say like a lot of people, they don't really realize like they need somebody who can guide them. And it could be your senior or somebody like a proper mentor or registered mentor. I say like mentors, they don't make you successful overnight, but what they do, they actually help you avoid expensive mistakes. Being entrepreneur, just one mistake can cost you a lot. So avoiding those mistakes also matters the most in your entire journey. And that's what you need. That's what you need, because a lot of people, they have experiences, and that's what I have said earlier, that you learn from your experiences. And if you're learning from others' experiences, that's also one of the ways how you learn. So that's where you need, because as you mentioned, like most of us, either we are coming from an employment background, but that's where we don't really know what exactly entrepreneurship is all about. So you need to build different kind of skills. And that's where mentors, they come in and they tell you, like, see, this is what you have to do, and this is what you should not be doing. And that this should not be doing actually matters more than what you should be doing.
Because you could have lots of ideas, right? And sometimes you might have 3 ideas, but you need to knock it down to 1. And that allows you to go through that thought process with your mentor, who understands you as well, and can help you make those right choices.
Yeah. And there's no shame in approaching people that see, I'm facing this kind of problem. Open up about your situation. That see, I'm facing these kind of situation, and you can even ask your friends. But still, I say that seek advice from those people who have already been through similar kind of situations, and that's where they can give you the right advice. If I'm approaching people, obviously different people have different experiences, and you can get advice from somebody who is very irrelevant. You can get a good piece of advice from that person, but still, if you want to get some practical advice, so go and get from those people who already have done something in their lives. So, and approach people. And maybe you approach different people for similar kind of situation, and you get different responses. And then you just have to get into your instincts. What your instinct says that this could be right, and just go with it. Let's go with it, and then stand by your decision.
Yeah. I mean, we both also own an accounting firm, right? And one of the benefits I find from that is we have, hundreds of entrepreneurs doing very different things, and they're very different parts of the journey. And I try to at least meet one of them once a year if possible, just to kind of share what I'm going through and understand what they're going through as well. And I've learned a lot from that process. You come up with new things that an entrepreneur is doing that maybe you can implement into your business, or a different way to market. What kind of things have you learned from your clients that you've been able to kind of implement in your business, or you've been able to help you grow professionally as well?
That's a good question. A very good question, because yes, we have a lot of clients and different people that are doing things differently. I would say, like, initially, even I didn't understand how to manage people. Right? And then I met one guy who was, very much friendly, and he knew about each and every staff member, about their families, about the problems they're facing. And that's what I felt like, it's not just about you're always running after clients and you need more and more clients. Sometimes you need to think about your staff members as well, what exactly kind of problems they're facing, what kind of situation they have been going through. And sometimes it's not just about the situations within the company. Sometimes you have to go personal as well. And that's the kind of bond you have to build with your staff members. So at the moment, we have just talked about how you build connections outside the company, how you bring in more people. But it's very, very few entrepreneurs who really think about that, the kind of environment they want to see outside. So they want to bring in the same environment as well, the kind of supportive environment, and each and every person is heard, and they want to support them. So that also matters a lot. So that was one of the things which I learned, and I really wanted to, create that bond with my staff members as well. Like, if you need any kind of help or support, I'm always available. And the door of my office that would never close. That was always open.
Yeah, no, that's a great.
You can come in. You can come in anytime. But yes, what I need from you is that kind of a commitment as well. If I'm supporting you, so I need that kind of support, so that I get that independence and go out of the office and meet people and bring in more clients.
Yeah, so it works both ways.
Yeah, apart from like CRM and or accounting softwares. So yeah, this was one of the things which I felt, which I think helped me a lot. Like learning from those people, and then bringing the same culture in my organization, Um, so yeah, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, no, great insights that you've provided. Obviously, one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is work-life balance. You know, I I met a lot of my friends recently, and they kept asking me, "How do you manage, running two businesses and I'm having a family and doing different things as well, running a podcast as well." And my my answer was just, with great difficulty, right? But I think the underlying thing is you have to enjoy what you do, because if you don't enjoy what you do, all of the different things that you're doing just becomes really draining, and it leads to, burnout. But how do you approach work-life balance? And then you're a very busy person doing lots of different things, be it networking, being a podcast, be it your businesses. You've got a family as well. What kind of advice would you give?
It's difficult. Never think about that you can manage. This is a normal perception. Like being a business owner, you should never be able to do a work-life balance. But see, again and again, I say that entrepreneurship is not just about one skill; it's a set of skills. So you have to learn another thing, which is time management. Right? I know a person who wakes up 6 o'clock in the morning, reaches office 7 o'clock, leaves 12 o'clock, then visits some of the clients, 1 or 2 clients every day. 4 o'clock, that person has to be in a squash court, right? 2 hours in the squash court, and then 6 o'clock onwards, he has to spend the time with the family, and 10 o'clock he has to sleep. So that was kind of, that fascinated me a lot. That whole, I know that person, like since I'm in UAE, I know that person, and he has the same routine. He is managing his business, managing his health, managing his family life as well, building connection with the clients. So it's all about time management. So if you know from this time to this time, this is what you have to do. You have to create a schedule. Without a schedule, without a direction, you cannot do anything. And obviously, another thing which matters the most is the support from your family, because your family knows and they understand that whatever you're doing, it's for them, not just for you alone. So they're enjoying the most, whatever you are doing. So they're enjoying the most, right? So they also have to think. So you need to get that kind of support. But sometimes what I see that people, they are unable to make them understand. So you have to tell them, see, this is what I'm doing. And if you're enjoying this kind of a lifestyle, so that requires me to do some certain things in this way. Right? And these are the kind of things which these are the efforts which I have to put in. So you have to be supportive. And that's how these whole things go on. Otherwise, if you're just focusing on one thing, obviously the other will require attention. And if you're unable to give any kind of attention, then that will collapse. Either you're focusing more on family, so yeah, your family will be good, but your business will collapse. And if you're focused more on business, family collapses. So that's what exactly you have to do. That's you have to learn how to manage your schedule. How the time management is one thing we study as well, and that's how you do time management.
Yeah, no, I think time management is very, very important. And I like the example of that entrepreneur where, he comes in early, even plays squash every day, and then spends time with his family. You also have a podcast that you're working on at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that podcast. I mean, you showed me the video off air, but it sounds like a really cool concept. So can you want to just tell us more about it?
Yeah. So as I said, sometimes you have to be just creative.
Yeah.
You have to bring in different kind of ideas. And that's what I learned when I was studying. I used to observe different businesses, like why this business is doing better than other businesses. I'll give you an example because I grew up in Islamabad in Pakistan. So we had a restaurant and they used to sell pulao. Like people, they confuse pulao and biryani. And it was just a regular pulao with some extra additions, maybe a chicken piece or a kebab. But there are a lot of other restaurants who are serving the same. But what I learned that maybe there's something which this person has done differently than others. And yes, what he did, he gave them a fine dining kind of experience. It was not just you're sitting in a regular restaurant or small restaurants with torn seats and then old furniture, but he gave you a different kind of experience. And then there were a lot of other experiences as well. And that's where I learned that if you want to be different in the market, so you have to do something different. And that's what I'm always pursuing. Something different. And I knew that a lot of people, they're doing podcasts, and this is obviously you are doing a wonderful job here. So then I thought, like, I'm part of different networks, and how I utilize those networks. Right? So I was part of one of the clubs, and it's a yacht club. And then I thought I'm going out and taking my friends, and we're spending almost 4 to 5 hours in the sea, and how I can make more of the time we're spending there.
Yeah, time management.
Time management. That was time management, yes. So obviously that was happening over weekends and whenever I was getting time. But then I thought maybe I can do it during working hours, and then I can bring in people. And this could be a very different kind of experience for a lot of people because everybody's sitting in a room, and that's how they are doing their podcast, talking about different topics. So I just wanted to bring in something different. And so far getting good response. And a lot of the only thing which I love is that even if I'm not getting any kind of views or likes, but my guests, they're enjoying the experience.
Yeah, no,
and that was matter the most for me, because I'm building very good connections with them, and everybody, whoever has come so far, everybody has enjoyed that experience, because we're roaming around in Dubai, especially Dubai Marina. And leave alone the boat experience. So you see around, and Dubai Marina is a beautiful place in Dubai.
So you go around Dubai Marina in your podcast,
and at the moment we are going through Dubai Marina, but we are planning more places because we want to show all the good places in Dubai to our audience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw a few clips and it looks amazing. Yeah.
And I'm officially inviting you as well to be my guest.
I'd be honored to come. Thank you very much. If any of our listeners would want to join, they could obviously reach out to you.
Yeah. So, look, the only platform I'm working on, obviously I'm different platforms, but the platform which I use the most and where they can find me is LinkedIn. Yeah. So if somebody wants to approach me, so Muhammad Kalim, and you can approach me on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to invite you.
We'll put your details on the show notes and make sure that our listeners can get in touch and hopefully get that boat ride on the podcast as well. But it's such a cool concept. And we'll also share the video on the show notes as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'll do some of the clips.
Before we wrap up, is there any exciting projects that you're working on? Anything that you'd want to share with our audience?
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm working with some of the projects is nowadays, because I have systems now. I have employees and they're taking care of auditing and accounting. But now I wanted to shift into something different, which was helping entrepreneurs directly, like how they can grow their businesses, not just from financial point of view, but obviously from social media or branding point of view as well. And that's how you get more sustainable growth, right? And that's what everybody knows, everybody wants. So obviously I can help them with financial models, like how they can how to take those right decisions, where exactly are the leakages, where there sometimes this also happens because you're growing and you see that your revenue is growing, but where's the profitability?
Where's the cash?
A lot of people, they struggle with that. And that's nowadays I'm working more on that. I'm working with different entrepreneurs, finding those leakages, fixing those problems, and then helping them in get more profitability.
Yeah, and the added benefit for you is you're not just the accountant, you're also a marketer as well. So you have the whole holistic.
Yeah, that's what I tell most of the accountants as well. Like, see, now we are in an era or in the times where you should not be just acting as an accountant, right? Because the business owners, they're expecting more from you. So you should not be just an accountant, but now you should be more of a storyteller as well. What exactly are those numbers they're saying? So you have to bring in those stories, tell the business owners, this is what exactly those numbers are saying, and then take that decision. And that's how we add value. Otherwise, what exactly we are doing, whatever has happened already, so we are just recording that, right? And that's what we complain most of the time, that I'm unable to add value. Or business entrepreneurs, business owners, they are complaining that our accountants, they're not adding any kind of value. And sometimes they feel like if there's any kind of hard times going on on that business, so the first person they will lay off is the accountant, right? Why? Because I didn't make my value in that company. So how you can add value, not just by doing real-time accounting or whatever task I had to do today, I have done all of those tasks, but it's how you add more value to that business. It could be different kind of ways. You bring in different kind of ideas, or you at least just translate those numbers to the business owners and let them have the right and timely decisions.
No, great advice. Great advice. Thank you very much for joining us on the Alphapreneurs podcast.
Pleasure, definitely mine. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah. And we'll put your name on the show notes and what you're working on, and hopefully we can all, not just me, but we can all get a trip on your boat as well.
For sure. Why not?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching the Alphapreneurs podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and took something away which you can apply in your own business. Please subscribe to the podcast and share this episode with someone who might find it useful too.